Dany is originally from Argentina and migrated to United States in 2001 to continue a very successful life. He's a songwriter, musical producer and musical director, and he has worked with amazing stars around the world. In this interview, Dany shares that the most important thing is to make peace with both the country that you were born and the country that you chose to live in. Enjoy! Hey Dany, I'm super happy to have you with us today because you have a super amazing experience being an immigrant. You are a songwriter, music producer, and musical director, and you've had all these amazing adventures and experiences working with very interesting people nationally and internationally. So thank you so much for accepting participating in this series of interviews.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And yes, I mean, we are always happy to share our experiences and having those experiences to being useful to other people that are coming. Immigration has so many aspects,
Oh
and
yeah.
you know, it is so much to tell and so much to share with people. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dany. Thank you. So why don't you start telling us a bit about how did you decide to move to United States? How was your process, all the adventures that you found, etc.?
Okay, that started during the 90s, actually. I've been working as a songwriter, producer, musical director, and being on tour, you know, with known Latin artists for a while. And so we started taking advantage of those trips, which all the Latin America tours, they started in the United States. And even when we didn't perform in the United States, the airline tickets, they were American. Oh, I don't know if we can name brands, but they were American based airlines. So we always started with a trip to New York or Miami. So what I did at that time is started to taking advantage of those trips and starting to go to the music record labels and meet people and offer our songs, because at that time we were performing live with this artist, but we were also writing songs for that artist. And so people started to know our songs. So we started engaging relationship with those record labels. So I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was late 90s uh, that we started having offers to work as songwriters. I mean, me and I have a partner at that time, and I have this will to come to the United States because at that time the Latin market was like exploding, especially Miami with the Emilio Estefan and all the things. So I started to have that dream about coming here and being part of all that. So so finally, yeah. So I have at that time I have a collaborator, an amazing songwriter. Actually, she's probably one of the top songwriters in the Latin market that we were collaborating. She's also from Argentina, so we were writing songs together. So most of all those songs that were recorded, it was with her. So she came here first, and she started telling me, "Hey, Danny, you have to come here." So that's was exactly how it started, you know. And then finally, I started that long process of putting my foot here, and then finally got here as an immigrant, which lasted for about 4, probably 5 years. You know, in 2001, I stepped my foot here and started the moving around and trying to make relationships, and I was going back and forth, and that process that's been for probably 4 to 5 years. Finally, 2006, I got here, and I stayed here, and I haven't moved since that to Los Angeles now.
So now it's permanently, like something that started like a strategy for your business and for your career, finally finished, and you settling up and establishing yourself
there forever, let's say.
Yeah, yeah. And before that, I I did have two working visas, two what's called a P1 visa. I have two. That was during the 90s, and you know, at that time I was very young, and probably I was living in a fantasy world. I always tell this because I didn't even know that I have a working visa
Oh my
on
God.
my passport. You know, at that time it was like, oh yeah, let's go play, have fun. You know, we were playing huge crowds, and we were living that kind of like a rock
Hmm.
musician life fantasy. Not that much as a rock musician because we were higher musicians. We were not artists. You know, we were not stars, but we were kind of like first line witnessing all that fantasy life and a little bit being part of that. So at that time it was like, oh, the manager telling us, oh, I need your passport for Monday, you know. So we were like, okay, yeah, here's my passport. And then, okay, yeah, give me your passport. When we were coming to the United States on tour, the manager was taking care of everything. So
That's
he
a
was like, okay,
relief.
give me your passport.
Yeah.
Yeah, done, you know. And I didn't even know that I have a two P1 visas. I didn't even know that I could get my social security number at that time. That would save me so many problems later on. So it was funny that my first two working visas were without me even knowing that. So and that it was kind of like balancing for how hard it was for me to get my third working visa.
Oh
My
yeah.
my first O1, it was like a hell of a process, you know. So so I've been educated the hard way into like all the immigration stuff.
Well, it's because you were this mischievous child jumping like a frog, as you were saying. And then when you have to actually be responsible of yourself and do all the process by yourself, you saw that it wasn't that easy as it seemed to be.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, I think that coming, moving from my country to this country, it was like it was probably the last step to becoming a true adult for me instead of that child, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And how it was like, because you moved there and you established there, but I believe there's a difference. Well, it was a huge difference because as you were a bit managed and then you got independent. How was it for you to face all these, I don't know, challenges as an entrepreneur, as a person, as an immigrant, as a man who was like actually opening his way through this new market? Because I believe even if you already knew the concept and you had all your, like, you already networked a lot, how was it for you to establish yourself and be alone?
Yeah, I believe that for me somehow God wanted to me to moderate, so to grow up and be a man. So everything somehow everything that I previously planned before coming to the United States that I thought it was going to work out a way, it didn't happen, you know. Every contact that I made, every person that told me, yeah, come here, I would take you, I would give you, I would give you stuff to do, that none of that happened.
Wow.
And actually, I have an offer to sign a contract before coming here with Universal Music Publishing that I turned it down. Now I laugh.
Woo!
Now I laugh because some people that they were here, they told me, no, 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 you don't have to take that. Come here, start working with me, and then in 6 months you're gonna get triple the money, you know. And at that time, pretty much everything had worked for me like that, So I didn't have the experience of failing.
Failure. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when I came here, I started, um, seeing people trying to do this, and that, and that, and it was like none of that happened. Actually, I have like my first three trips. They were not successful at all. It was this total disaster. Actually, it was not only that. I have I have a little accident working inside my computer. I cut a nerve on my one of my fingers, so I couldn't play for 3 months, and so then I have to move back. So I was like, okay, what am I doing here? I can't play, I can't work, I can't do anything. So then I made another trip. I went to Miami to see my contacts in Miami. None of that worked, and it was actually on my third trip that in a very, very, very humble level, I got my first gig, let's say.
Mm.
And I have spent all of my money. I have no place to stay, and so then I end up renting a room in a friend's house. It was very humbling, but it was at the same time it was a lesson of life. I didn't even know how I was going to pay for that rent. So the first night, I would never forget. The first night I was like at that friend's house, and then someone knocked at the door, and they needed right away someone who can produce music for an advertising.
Mm-hmm.
He picked me up. I went with this guy I never met before, and in his band, and he took me to some studio in downtown Los Angeles. I was like, and in 6 hours or 7 hours, next day he has to present this music for an advertisement, and he didn't have a clue how to produce a track. And so there were 3 singers in the studio, and I said, okay, this is what they reject. They show us a very bad produced music. This is what they reject, so we have to make this right. So okay, so in a few hours we made that happen. The guy was all happy. So that was my first I was charging very little, but at the same time I can pay my next month rent. So I was so happy. And so then after that, like, I never stopped doing gigs.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, it was like going very, very slowly, but like going
Ramping up.
yes. So yeah, that was kind of like the way I started
Yeah.
do things here.
I wonder, if, for example, you told me that like there was people who told you, no, turn them down, you come and start working with me and we are going to do it together. Could this be because they saw you very impulsive and naive because of your personality, or because you were actually an immigrant and they took you as you don't know anything, so we are going to take advantage of the circumstances? And I don't know.
No, I don't think that any of that happened. What happened is that probably people saw the possibility to do good business or good work with me at some times. And the music industry is very dynamic. Things change all the time. So by the time I finally put my step here, probably those opportunities were gone. They were
Okay.
other people. The opportunities were not there anymore. I think that probably at a spiritual way have more to do with me than with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, now going to your question, of course, probably the first people that come to you is people that they see a person who just came,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in need of a lot of things. They see a possibility to make more money. I'm gonna make more money with this guy that just came, that need to be known, than rather with this other guy that he has 3 Grammys and but I see that that's a natural thing. Actually, after that Universal Music Publishing offer that I turned it down.
Uh-huh.
The first contract that I signed, it was a contract that I signed with another music publishing that I probably wouldn't sign if I would not need a sponsor for my O1 visa, you know. So that was part of a very important part of my decision to sign that contract with that company. And it was not because they were bad. It was just they offered me whatever they could offer me. But if I would not need a sponsor for my visa, I would probably try to get different conditions. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
But then I was very happy actually, and I was very grateful that I had this offer from these guys. And then those I worked for them 3 years, you know. So that was the period that this O1 visa lasted. And then I'm at the time to renew it. I have different relationship with different people. So then I got another sponsor, and I didn't have to deliver that much of myself to this new sponsor, you know. So, but I think that's a natural process.
And personally, how was it for you to integrate into your new country? Because at the beginning you were like coming in and out, and several times, and I don't believe you were able to establish real relationships, like real friendships, you know, like those who you can call family. So when you got there and established yourself permanently in United States, how was it for you? Was it easy for you to integrate?
Well, you know, I think that immigration it's not easy for let's say more than 99% of the people who immigrate. There is a small probably percentage of people that they come with everything solved, you know, like the I don't visa, they come with a job, they probably the you know their employers they get them a place to live, and they got all that solved from the beginning. For the majority of us, it's very, very tough to get all those problems solved. I remember when I first came here that even though I have a bunch of savings and I offer to pay 6 months in advance to no one wanted to even rent me a place because I didn't have any credit score, any history of credit history here, credit. So it was even it was tough to even get a place to stay, even if you have money. It's so I then ended up renting a place because a friend of a friend of a friend wanted to rent a place, and he was also a musician. He wanted to share the space with. He was living in the. It was a house, and I was renting the lower floor, and he was living in the higher floor, and he was making a lot of noise with his music, and so another musician, so he wouldn't complain about the noise. So that was how I got my first rent place. And there is a lot of things that you have to adapt, and of course making new friends and meeting new people, adapting to a new culture. You know, it's very different the way they see things. But I want to say something that probably would save people some headaches.
Yeah.
That I didn't make my homework before coming here, as I didn't make peace with my country when I left my country and my place. I have a lot of complaints to my country. Let's say I was upset about this, which all the complaints were real, you know, they were not fake. But that relationship with my surroundings, I carry with myself.
Yeah.
Soon enough, I found myself complaining about a lot of things from this new place, you know, about the culture, the food, the women, whatever, you know. So then finally, I realized that I changed the scenography, but I didn't change my complaining.
Yeah.
It just changed the targets of my complainings. So I think that a very important thing is to make peace with the place you're living and make peace with your surroundings, you know. And, and no country is to blame for anything, you know. All countries have its goods and bads, and at the end, every country do as good as they can, you know, to give you whatever they can give you. So in my case, I think that yeah, there was a lot of complaining at the beginning, and then over time, I learned to be at ease with my surroundings, and you know, finding myself in a position that, okay, I'm not from here, I'm not from there, I'm from here, which
Mm.
is self, and I try to make the best of where, you know, wherever I am. I spend a lot of time also in Mexico. I go there to work a lot, so I ended up enjoying Mexico, enjoying Los Angeles, enjoying Argentina. Whenever I go, you know, in Argentina, there's a lot of problems also, you know, but I was like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of problems, but there's a lot of wonderful things also. So I try to connect with the good stuff
Yeah.
of every place. That's how I ended up dealing with you know, every country's issues. Let's put it that way.
I believe you're absolutely right, because it happens a lot, and it happened to me as well, and to some of my clients, that they arrive to their new country and they are super excited about it, but then after a while they start looking at the reality, and then they start complaining, as you're saying. But it's more about the attitude that you're facing the challenges at that moment, or the new things that are coming into your way. You were saying about the food and people around you and the new lifestyle, and of course food is going to be different. It's not going to be our bife or tacos or whatever it is. It's going to be new tastes, and this is for everything that is on our way. I do believe that the attitude changes everything, that the way that you see things today, because you start comparing. Maybe it happened to you, that you were saying, well, in Argentina we didn't have this, we actually have the best of this and this and this, and suddenly Argentina became the perfect place on earth.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, yeah, it is like that. And also, trying to understand a new culture, a different culture, a different way to see life, that you know, probably it could be uncomfortable at the beginning, but it has a lot of teachings, you know. And once you understand another way of seeing life, it's like you have two visions instead of one. So it's very I don't know how to put it, but it's very valuable. I feel lucky because I have that, and I actually could live 2,000 years. I would try to move, you know, to every corner of the world and try to learn the way of thinking and the way of seeing things. So there is a difference, you know. Here in the United States, money is like a big thing, you know. It's all about money. You don't say that this is a good, let's say this is a good keyboard, or this is a great speaker, this is a great microphone. You say this is a $5,000 microphone.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
this is a $3,000 keyboard, and this is a $400 keyboard. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that at the beginning was very upsetting to me. You know, I'm sorry. Telemarketing is another thing I don't like. Uh, so so that was very upsetting to me at the beginning. I was like, can't you say it's a good keyboard? You have to put the money, you know, in front of everything. But I believe that I was taught to see money as a bad thing, you know. Money, people do a lot of bad things because of money or greed, you know. But I think the money is just an energy.
Mm-hmm.
An energy exchange. Like, it's, you can do good or you can do bad with money, you know. It's just it's no more than that. And you know, you know, saying this is a $5,000 microphone, it's a way to say this enterprise puts so much effort in developing this microphone that the price was set up to $5,000. You know, it's just a very simple way to say that. That it's just that, not because they are greedy. They put a price to, they set the price to $5,000. It's because, you know,
Yeah.
and that's it's a different language. And also I find conversations where they can say, right now I have a very expensive microphone that it was actually developed in my country, so it's, I'm very proud of that. And I used to say to clients, you know, this is a $3,000 microphone, but it sounds like a $6,000 microphone, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's just learning a new way to see a new culture, a new, you know, a new way to see life, you know. So I think that it's very important to being open, you know, to open
Definitely.
yourself and being open to that, instead of rejecting, you know, which is probably the natural thing to do. And I was, you know, I was I was there for quite a while, so I can understand.
No, but definitely being open to receive and to actually be flexible and adapt things that you might actually like after all. And I believe you as a musician, you have impacted everywhere and every people around you with your music and with your style. Like music is very, very strong cultural wise. And I believe that you've had the ability also to impact other people around you. Do you remember any kind of circumstance when music helped you as an immigrant to open your doors into, I don't know, a great opportunity, or I don't know, making other friends, or maybe knowing a lady or something like that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, music connects a lot of people. Set me like a lot of friendships, new friends, not only here but also, as I said, in Mexico. I have a lot of friends in Mexico. Uh, you know, I feel that when I go to Mexico City, I feel that it is also my home. So yeah, I mean, working in music, especially when you do songwriting, um, you know, collaborating, it's a big thing. Uh, most most songs are collaborations. It
Mm-hmm.
is, uh, and most successful songs are collaborations. So songwriters, we are collaborating and traveling all the time and connecting with people, and we have actually our it is very common to have publishing deals. So every songwriter have publishers, um, which are companies that manage songwriters' royalties. So publishers, something very important they do is that they connect songwriters. So they say, oh, it would be very good to you to meet this other guy who's in Mexico. Oh, this guy from Mexico is in town. So yeah, I have a lot of, actually most of my friendships were developed because of the music, you know.
Mm.
And also the possibility to meet artists and work with artists, because I do the performing live things. I did that for quite a while. So yeah, that also gave me the chance to actually give my songs to the artists. You know, I did perform with a lot of time with Diego Torres, which he's also my friend, my very close friend, and we kind of like started together. We were
Yeah.
very young, and we have our garage band, and then, you know, the thing became more serious and serious until we ended up making big hits together. And then I performed with different artists also in my country and here with Gloria Trevi also. So, and I did perform with this guy who now he's more oriented to acting, the one who's playing Luis Miguel in the
Oh,
Netflix series. That Diego,
Boneta.
Diego Boneta, yeah.
Yeah.
At that time, but he's also, people don't know, but he's also an artist. He's a singer, and so
Yeah. Well.
I did a tour with him. At that time, he was named as Diego Gonzalez, and he was part of the RBD soap opera. So he was sharing the tour with RBD. So I did a couple of tours with RBD, which gave me the opportunity to show my songs to RBD. So I ended up placing one of my songs in one of RBD's albums. So, you know, in music, a very important part of our work is making relationships.
Yeah. And I believe it's not only making relationships, but all the people that you described, they have common things that unite them. Which, for example, I don't know, Gloria Trevi and Diego and the other people that you mentioned, they are immigrants as well. So I believe there's a sense of us looking and reaching out to each other. It's kind of automatic. I don't believe we are looking for other people as ourselves in that moment, but it kind of connects.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. And there is one thing that you know, when you are applying to a visa, you need a lot of things, a lot of recommendations. So you know, a lot of recommendation letters actually.
Mm-hmm.
So those recommendation letters, I remember asking people, and then I signed a lot of those. I wrote a lot of those recommendation letters for others.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, it is very, very common to give our advice or our experience. Okay, how did you get your O1 visa? Okay, I did all this, and okay, you have a good lawyer. Yes, call this guy. Don't call this guy. You know, like we kind of share all that information, and you know, every case is different, and there is a lot of things. You know, they're unbeatable. I mean, I experienced this myself. There unbeatable cases that are lost, and there are incredible cases that are won, you know, in immigration. So I think it depends a lot on who is putting together the case. Also luck, because you know these people revising all the information are also human beings.
Yeah, of course.
And they have their own interpretations of the information that I put it together. And I believe this is on my side, and I believe there's also different moments. So I think that cases are going to be look different if, let's say, 1 year we have 1 million musicians applying for a O1 visa, and the next year you probably have 100,000 musicians applying to a O1 visa. So there's a lot of times that I've seen that case people were rejected, and then the next year they apply again. It's exactly the same information, exactly the same case, and they were accepted, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to come, don't give up.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of people who are just moving just because, and they don't even know all the challenges and the things that they have to face without knowing. Sometimes it's counterproductive.
No one can tell you either to stay or to go back. That's something very, very personal. But I also used to say that I think that you have to have a reason to move to another country. If you don't have a reason, you know, if you don't find a reason to be in a country,
yeah.
So then why to put on all that, you know, all those challenges that you're gonna face? And yeah, as you say, that I find that there's a lot of people that they don't know why they move. They move because they have a relative, or they just, I wanted to try, or whatever. So
tell us a bit about being an entrepreneur in another country.
A couple of years ago, I started flying drones and
Mm-hmm.
filming with drones, and right now we're putting together a stock media company, me and my wife, and there's been so much work that we have to do, both of us, that probably if we knew before, we wouldn't even started to do it. You know what I mean? And there's every day there's new challenges, but the good thing is that we learned a lot. We learned a lot about how to put something together. And this is not the first time that we start something. And I started a lot of different projects, made partnership with artists, and most of them fail, so in my case, the thing is be prepared to move on if things don't happen the way they were planned. Don't get stuck there emotionally.
When you arrived there, was there anything that you needed as an immigrant that you were lacking of emotionally?
Well, yeah, a lot of things. A lot of things, and when I came here, we didn't have WhatsApp, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have Skype. I don't know. We didn't have. It was. I remember I didn't even have internet when I just came here, so I was like probably addicted to go to where you can people go to make photocopies and all that, and they did have internet.
Oh, like a cyber coffee.
It was that place, Kinko's. It's called Kinko's. So I remember going to almost every night Kinko's to write like huge emails to my parents,
or
my friends, telling them about. They were probably tired of reading my. So yeah, I mean, you are here all alone, and you lack all that affection, and you feel kind of vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, emotionally, I mean, you cannot prepare for that, you have to experience it firsthand to know.
And just to wrap up, I would love you to go back, I don't know, 3-5 years before you moved to United States, before you even knew that you were going to move. What would you tell yourself in that moment?
That's a very, very good question, actually. If I go back, I would tell myself, listen to your father. I remember my father told me, you have to take that contract, Dany, and then move. And yeah, there were some mistakes I made that I would probably I would say, hey, you, because the probably to me, like signing that contract would give me the chance to come here with the immigration problem solved. I would have that visa, the working visa from the first place. So that, to me, that was a mistake. And but I would probably tell myself to what I said before, to fix your relationship with your surroundings. So be in peace with the world that surrounds you, because that relationship is going to travel with you, and it's going to give you a lot. If you're upset now, you're going to be upset soon enough there, and it's not going to change anything, because you're not going to change. I didn't change the United States culture to my to my vision or whatever, but it's not going to change anything. It's just going to change your experience. It's just going to draw a smile in your face, and that is the way that you change your world, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you cannot change the world. We cannot change the world. We just can change our world. So I would say that, just be at ease and be in peace with your surroundings.
Definitely.
Before moving.
Before moving. and after too. I wish you the best of lucks. Thank you so much again for sharing your experiences with us. And I hope this is not going to be the last time.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm very, very happy to share my experiences. And I hope that that could serve others.
Definitely. So having your perspective and looking at you succeed and being established there, doing all the things that you enjoy, of course, this is going to inspire others. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.